Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Alliance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. It's Sunday, right before Labor Day. I had the bulk of this stuff arrive Monday. I pulled the front two tires off of the Challenger, went to get them new tires mounted and balanced. When I came back, the stuff was here, worked out good. I got to use something that you'll see. Part of this I've actually got assembled already, and the rest of it I just kind of need out of my way. I've got the gantry crane, I've got like a Husky shelf unit that was pulled when I did pallet rack that's strung out between the gantry and the duster. There's a whole bunch of antifreeze and water pump lube and stuff. I need to move a radiator, and then the front half that's open on the floor, or I need to be working on the cooling system stuff. I've got like a bunch of paint stuff going on, so kind of just need this slight little bit of floor space, and I want to go ahead and document this stuff before I tear it down. So this will be a very big tool haul from Harbor Freight, and then what I plan to do is there will be several of these items we'll do standalone videos on. If there's anything you see that I don't do a standalone on, let me know. If any of it interests you, we'll just take it from there. So this was all ordered online when they had a big sale right before. I thought the sale before Labor Day was actually a little bit better. That's just my personal opinion. But what I'll try to do here is just get going. So right here we've got 3-inch cutoff wheels picked up. I'm not sure how I'm going to allocate them, but I got a 25 pack, I believe. Yeah, and a 10 pack. And one of those will be staying at home because I'm down, I don't know, probably have like 15 or so. I'll probably keep the 10, take the 25 to work. You'll see more on that later. Right here, these were sort of disappointing. Online, you don't really know like what the size is. You know, I assumed it was larger. I bought an air saw a while back. I've not opened it yet. I might have to cut an exhaust off something. I thought I'd give this a go instead of like getting a cordless recip. That's not what I was expecting, but I guess it'll work. I went with the fine 32 teeth per inch. Coming in, I'll have links to all this stuff. I'll try to do prices for you. Some of this is sort of like out of order and won't make sense till you see more. Got some Bauer 5-inch hook and loop sanding discs. These are 150 grit. I've got some 180 grit 6-inch. I got a 3-inch disc holder. Again, more on all of that will make sense later. But right here, I have never had any type of this stuff. When I clean my tools, I literally use like a blue shop rag or a red rag, whatever I've got handy. Just get the grease off. I thought I would give these a go. Also, a lot of times my hands, when they get really greasy, I hate touching the camera. And that's something you don't typically have to deal with if you're not filming yourself doing things. And I've always just kind of run in and cleaned up, but out here in the shop I have like the fast orange crud. My hands stay like, I don't know, I almost prefer them greasy over whatever that does to them. So I thought I'd see what these do for tools and possibly me. Again, no experience with those or the toolbox wipes or whatever everyone else is running. They were available and I thought, hey, let's try them. Right here I've got a cutoff wheel mandrel. This is from Chief, so it's the pricier one. Right here, this is pretty new, I have to say, from Harbor Freight, and this is kind of a godsend for me, assuming it's universal enough for Chrysler, which sometimes it isn't. But it's just a plastic trim kit. You've got quarter, 23/64, 5/16, 9/32, sort of the Christmas tree style. You got 25/64, fat and thin, I guess. You've got like the push pin style, pop rivets, whatever you want to call them, and it's lists Chrysler, so that's good. But all the time, whether it's the truck, whether it's the Challenger, if you're dealing with the front covers for the radiator, if you're dealing with wheel wells, if you're dealing with any plastic trim, that's where I thought this stuff would come in handy. They literally, this is not an old item at Harbor Freight. It like came out like probably like right before I ordered, so probably like that week. So as of right now, when I'm filming this around Labor Day, this is like 2 weeks old or so, probably not a lot out there on it, but this is awesome. It'll probably be in like their assortment aisle, which again, your consumables like this you can get from Harbor Freight for pretty decent prices. Now you'll start to see some things that interest you more, and we'll start with one that probably doesn't, which is right here. I bought another test light lead, just so I would have the thing. I've got one that served me very, very well. I will be doing a ton of wiring soon. I thought I could allocate them between, a lot of times, like on the old cars, I'll shut it up, you know, in the trunk or the car, and it'll be locked, and if I don't bring the keys out with me, because I'm not planning on working on that, and like, oh no, you know, X tool is in there. That's honestly all this is, plus they're dirt cheap. This actually looks to be very heavy duty compared to the one I have. The one I have is fine, but again, this is just kind of like a secondary one to have on hand. Coming in right here, it's just a flap disc. I can't remember if I had bought one of these. I will put this on an angle grinder. Flap discs are nice to have around. They are a bit pricey from Harbor Freight, but I also don't want to like take the ones from work because that would be stealing. So there we go on that front. Coming in here, we've got a conditioning kit. These are just basically like roll lock type knockoff stuff, right? I've got a lot of crud I'm trying to like clean up, so I'm trying to get my assortments. I believe I have all this stuff in a little Plano box in a toolbox, but it's consumables, and so as I use them I need to replace them or you don't have them type of a deal. So that's the logic there. Right here, some 3-inch twist lock abrasive discs. Again, kind of makes sense with other items, right? Let's go with this. This I was very happy that I bought, because on the hot knife you're supposed to just hold the trigger, literally hold the trigger, no trigger lock or anything. You're to hold it, let it get up to temperature, make your cuts, and call it a day. And what I found is, like, that's fine for the first cut, but then by the time I roll out the next thing I want to cut with the hot knife, it's lost enough temperature that it cuts partially or not at all, and it's super annoying. So I wrapped a silicone tie I had around it. It's just barely long enough. It's really fat and really short. It'll do it, but barely. These are going to be longer. They should work. Oh yeah, that's going to work real well for what I'm wanting to do. So what are my plans with these? I'm going to trigger lock stuff. So not advised, but you know, it's a $19 hot knife. If it dies, it dies. I'll get another one. I'm not going to like invest at this point in time in a very, very expensive hot knife. So up next, if I can stay out of the camera, is this guy. And this is not for me. This is something I picked up for work. We've had so many bearing failures. It's gotten to a point, a lot of them had to be cut off, and this is going to serve us well at work. That way another employee can take his home. I think this is the exact same one he brought. So that's where, again, that 25 pack will be going. Since it's kind of a cool item, we'll take a look at it. My cutoff here, what am I using? It's either a Husky or a Campbell. It's gotten a ton of use. This one actually pretty nice. Again, air tools, in my opinion, there's not a lot of difference between like the super high end and the super low end. This one's pretty soft. It's heavier than I thought. So you got a trigger lock, you got a guard. I actually like to run the guards. Hopefully it rotates so I can direct the sparks and get in different angles. But sometimes they've got to come off. But yeah, I think it'll be decent. So we've got that. That I'll be taking to work on Tuesday, I suppose. I'm going to set it down and hope it doesn't fall. Coming in now, let me slide the tripod up just a little. We're going to showcase this guy. Perfectly oriented sanding belt cleaner. Never used anything like this, don't know anything about it, but it says it makes your discs and sanding belts last 5 times longer. If you've used this, if you sand a lot, you're probably a woodworker, let me know. Is this worth it or not? I picked it up, I'll use it, I'll see what I think. If I think it helps me, I'll buy more. If I think it's just a joke, I'll never buy it again. Sticking with that theme, I've got a 4 by 36 inch sanding belt, right? Kind of seems weird, I know, but hey, it's nice to tear those off and use them, or is it? More on that later. Now right here, this is an item I'm excited about. I think some of you will be as well. It'll probably be a standalone candidate. This is the 3 amp 5-inch variable speed orbital sander. Sadly, the Bauer one was put on like a super Labor Day deal. I had already ordered this one because it's a pretty good chunk off. It might have been $20 off. Got a pretty good buy on it. I've wanted one for quite some time. Going to use it, see what I think of it. Honestly, there's like some pallets and some wire spools. If I ever get free time, I think I could sand them down, stain them, and probably sell them. And, that's the truth be told, that's like all there is for this guy. That's kind of what my plans are with it, so won't see a ton of use until I have free time. Coming in next, we've got some repeat offenders, albeit in a different color. This guy literally showed up today. I ordered these 2 Saturdays ago. I had to go into work on a Saturday, wound up getting stuck there because there's bad storms, didn't want to drive in hail. I think I left around like 6. I was totally drained when I got home, and I ordered all of this stuff while it was on that sale because, again, I couldn't get to the store. So this was a straggler. This thing took 15 days to get to me because this is Sunday. So two Saturdays and another day. All this is, it is the magnetic paper towel holder. If you're curious, it's literally 2 pieces. So if you have tiny shop roll or something, you can do that. If you have like full size, bounty, whatever, you can adjust this accordingly. You can use it in your kitchen, whatever floats your boat. Sticking with that theme, I kind of like these, I'm not gonna lie. This is the magnetic spray can and screwdriver holder. The magnets are very strong. Sometimes it does pull the cans, but I thought it would be useful for what I've got. And what I've got, let me just tilt this back up a little. I wasn't lying when I tell you I've got a shelf unit pinned against the gantry crane with a bunch of other stuff by the duster. Yeah, that's what's going on. Right there. That's it, folks. That is the big purchase. I did have that thing shipped. That is a U.S. General cart. It is the 4-drawer. Let me get the Rock Auto box out of the way. I don't know if I can stand over here, really. I think we'll be okay. I'm trying to shoot some... It's super humid. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I'm trying to shoot some Plasti Dip. This is the fully assembled one, right? That's my OEM, that's fine. They like royally bent these. I bent it back into place. The legs over there. And instead of having me send it back, they're just like, you keep it, we don't want it. So, okay, cool. And now I'm just trying to kind of like cover up all the bare metal because that was beat up pretty bad. But right here, I also was doing some painting last night. I could not stand the trim on that stupid thing. And have you ever wondered if the five drawer trim fits the 4-drawer? Let me save you some time. It doesn't. Yeah, I found that out the hard way. I'd already opened it. And yes, this is the 4-drawer. I didn't ever really get to compare these in store. This is kind of a precursor for me in terms of seeing how well I like this over a short period of time to get the big one, the full-size cart. I think they're priced okay. If it was $5.99 instead of $6.99, I'd like it a whole lot better. I think everyone can agree with me there. I wanted one when they were on sale. They don't have a ship to store option at Harbor Freight. And you guessed it, I work and I can't always get to Harbor Freight. You know, especially like if I have a Saturday where I have to go out of town type of deal, which frequently happens. If I can't get in the store, I can't order it. I had it in my cart. I nearly bought one. It was going to be $98 in freight, which completely offset the savings. I can't remember what it was, if it was 20% off or something. But my logic, I know a lot of people are into wood and stuff, and prices have come down on lumber. Cool. Prices on steel have not. Stuff with steel is pretty ridiculous. Structural stuff, you're okay. You can probably find it. At work, 6-inch OD, 10 gauge. I was buying that stuff for like 9 something a foot, you know, 2019, 2020, early 2020. Slowly went up. Now it's a situation where a lot of people aren't producing it. They say they have it planned, and like when you go to your distributor, you can shop around, even at the distributors you don't like, they're all going to give you the similar story. They just distribute it. They don't make it at the steel mills, right? And so we're talking like, the story I get is they're going to have some. They don't know how much. You can order it if you want to, but they don't have a price. So, of course, none of the distributors are buying it. I'm having a really hard time. I bought a quite a few sticks. You know, it's a 20-foot stick at a time. I bought several, hoping to tide myself over. Luckily, winter is the slower time. But it's like first quarter 2022, I guess they're going to start making the stuff again, but who knows for how much. So, long story short, what was once like sub $10 a foot has now turned in, I think I paid 23, and that's after I haggled and we shopped around a little bit, and he was finding, I guess, people that had it on the floor still. Maybe they didn't know that it was going to go away, who knows, but you wouldn't think 6-inch OD tubing would be like a big deal, but apparently it is. Now again, you can maybe bump up your wall thickness or go down in your wall thickness if possible. Save yourself some headache, but my logic was on this cart, on their tool cart, on everyone's tool carts, I don't know that the current prices have reflected how ridiculous metal prices are, and I currently don't see any reason to have faith that they're going to come down. So I felt like seeing this again way back in the day. You could probably get this for like $139 on sale, maybe even less. Glory days, it's probably $99 on sale, but it's $199 now. The 5-drawer I think is $239. You can sometimes get the 5-drawer for $199. This was one, I want to say it was $179, maybe a little less, and I pulled the trigger. My plans with this thing right now, I had overflow from my toolboxes, and the items that were constantly kicked out were vice grips, stuff like that. And so my thoughts were like, man, you know, that would work great for just locking pliers. Subsequently, I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know, at the time I was really considering getting that Vulcan welder. I thought they'd permanently lowered the price $100. They didn't. It was just like a poorly done sale where they didn't show it was 100 off. You know, it showed that it was $9.99. Then I started the TIG welding poll. Never in my wildest dreams, you know, did I think people would vote for the Vulcan based on their experience, but that's what they did. I was like, man, I totally should have done that. And there's a chance, you know, it gets turned into like a full-blown like welding cart where I have my vice grips, I move my clamps, I move my magnets, you know, all that type of stuff over here, nozzles, tips, spare stuff. There's a chance I like treat it like a service cart kind of deal where I've got like sort of beater wrenches and, you know, some, you know, random sockets up top. I don't really know what I'm going to do. My logic was if I wound up with the full-size service cart or some other boxes, I like the color scheme, especially now that I've blacked out the trim. I'll probably do some other things. I honestly thought this came with a shelf. I knew the 5-drawer didn't. I thought the 4-drawer came with a shelf. Spoiler, it does not, so that's another $25 we're going to have to throw at it. But whatever I do, it's going to serve me well right now for vice grips, which are in there. I'm not going to show them to you. Everything else is just a mess. I've got some hardware and crud sitting around for various projects, but I threw this thing together earlier this week. Then I've knocked the trim off, put it back on, painted it. When I realized the 5-drawer trim doesn't fit, it actually does match proportionally. I was like, this is a great idea. You know, why doesn't no one do this? It's a total different style of trim. The 5-drawer, based on what I have, like would latch on one side. This is like a C-channel, like that latches on the top and the bottom. Yeah, so just in case you have the bright idea like I did, yeah, keep in mind it's not going to work. So just paint that. It's going to save you a lot of time and $9, I guess. So like I said, had I have been in the store when I bought this, I could have looked at the trim, I could have compared it, I could have asked if they might have not known, they might have let me open it or something. But yeah, that really sucked, but it looks awesome now. I'm probably going to black some more out on it, so that'll be exciting. But that was kind of the big ticket item. There was no freight. Like, I mean, I paid $6.99 freight. That's $7, not hundreds of dollars. But I paid $6.99. And I got all this stuff. So that right there, and I think the 5-drawer, don't hold me to this, I think they come for like the bare minimum in freight. Why did I do the 4-drawer, some of you might ask? Well, quite frankly, I don't know what I would have done with the 5th drawer. I didn't take the time to look at the measurements. I think the 5-drawer is like a little, maybe taller, deeper, possibly wider, so you get a little extra storage out of it, but my thoughts were this is going to be great for the welding type of materials. If I go that route, it's perfect for the locking pliers and some other stuff. It has service cart potential. Other thing, and this is like if I really step it up and get some other items in here I've had my eyes on, I'd be fine with that as like a detail cart. You know, like just because I have locking pliers in it now doesn't mean it stays that way, right? So that's kind of my practical view of everything. Now, if you wonder why you're staring at a empty box and why I was over here the whole time, it's because I picked that up too. I've had that thing. This is, again, pretty dadgum new. This is probably like, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks out, you know, since it first arrived. I kid you not, when this thing arrived, it was $99. And I thought, man, or maybe $89. It was a really good buy, because this is essentially like the Central one, probably just updated with better internals, you know, and a bigger motor. But that deck right there with the 4x2 pad, it's going to tilt. You can make it stand straight up, which is probably what I'm going to do most of the time. Then you've got a 6-inch down there with a mitering gauge. It's going to allow me to do some things in the shop that I've always just kind of done with a bench grinder. And so I'll be able to tailor, you know, my grit and everything here. I think it's going to be a nice addition. I don't really know where I'm going to put it right now. I'll figure that out. I will say this arrived like it had been through the desert. Like literally, FedEx got it. They're halfway here. They stopped somewhere in New Mexico or Arizona, threw it in a sand dune. Next guy had to go dig it out, and then they repeated it, like in White Sands, New Mexico. I don't know what happened, but like if I were to just hit that, you know, lightly, you would see like a layer of dust just float up in the sky. I'm hoping that that's limited to the outside. I don't want that in the motor on the inside, but this will also probably get a standalone video. Just for now, I wanted to have it documented with this is like a big deal. This is a lot of money for me to spend at one time. But again, this is like shop equipment. You know, this I hope to have years and years of service out of. The cart, whatever it winds up doing in the end, I think it's going to be fine. I do wish the thing had 4 swivel casters, especially where it's currently wedged. It's just kind of annoying. So we'll cover that in more detail later. I'm honestly might be the most excited about those little plastic push pins, because they're dirt cheap and you get a ton of them, so that's awesome. 20 pieces of each of the 12, I'm thinking correctly. So yeah, mainly consumables, a little something for work, the silicone ties to trigger lock, the Hercules sander. Oh, there's one more item. If you follow me, you've already seen this thing, and this is the other big ticket item, and this is a brand new as well. Right here, the Hercules 1/2-inch impact. Now this, it's important I stress this. If that looks tiny, it is. This is the compact one. I'm not really sure why they came out with the compact one first. Maybe they just have projected sales, or based on, you know, like what people did with other lines. They're like, okay, we're going to sell more of these. Let's get it to market first. $99 was the price. That thing I saved a lot. Like, I think it came down to what it was priced at initially. It was at that initial price point of, I want to say, $99 for like 3 or 4 days, and then it just jumped up. I don't know if it was a listing error or what, but that's why I never bought it. And then it went on sale, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. But this right here I have used. I threw it back in the box for this video and for standalone. But what I did, like I said, had the front 2 tires off the Challenger. I got home, I had all this stuff from FedEx here, and so the reason that I used it, I tend to do those lugs by hand. They're black painted. What happened is I accidentally jacked the rear up, you know, because I was like trying to figure out if I could use the jack and get the stands under simultaneously, which I did. But long story short, I forgot to break them free. I was in a hurry because they took like 2.5 hours to mount 2 tires. So at that time I was still thinking I'd get back to work. Spoiler alert, I did, but it's only because I gave up on waiting there. So nonetheless, I had to use this because I'd already jacked the car up and had stands under it, and I was like, I didn't break it free. This is terrible. So this came in super handy. Didn't damage the lugs any more than me using the Giant Hazette would. I do have the padded Sunex socket for what it's worth, but yeah, 550 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. I think people that got these early might have torque tested them. I don't know. I'm not going to do much running in with this, but I'll break stuff free. That's kind of the way I work. I typically I'll run stuff down, you know, close, but then I like to hand tighten and torque everything I deal with. So but I gotta say, it worked great. Again, we'll probably make a standalone on this, but yeah, this legitimately was a pretty big expenditure for yours truly. So Like I say, I try to do everything thrifty, and that was not on sale. The Hercules, I think that's the only thing that wasn't. Maybe the tub of towels, but they were like $4 or something. So yeah, we've added an orange service cart. We've got black trim. I got some other mods going for that. We've got the sander, which again, I'm looking at that sort of the same way I do a bench grinder. It should just be there and serve me well for years. To give you an idea how long I've had the bench grinder, it's orange, the caution orange that they had like in the late 90s and early 2000s at Harbor Freight. Matches my cherry picker. Yeah, that thing's been around a while and it's still not dead, so that's sort of the faith I'm placing in this Bauer one. And yeah, that's about it. So if you've used any of this stuff, let me know. How's it treating you? Was it junk? Was it awesome? Was it the steal of a lifetime? Let me know your thoughts. If you have one of the U.S. General carts, what did you opt for? 4-drawer or 5, and why? Or even maybe the little single drawer one would be a really good detail cart. I guess it kind of depends how many racks you can fit on them. But yeah, you know, if you did not know, yes, I like blue and black. I also like orange and black. The green and black stuff is really cool too. That's why my shop looks like Skittles, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I'm excited about this stuff. I'm also excited to get the box cut down, get all this packaging torn open while paint dries, and get everything kind of shelved away, out of sight, out of mind, organized, and get this place cleaned up so I can deal with everything here. And like I say, a lot of this stuff is about to go in the truck, so that's exciting. It's also exciting that I'm going to get in front of a fan, which I don't have over here, and I am sweating. Again, not that hot, but we've just been oddly humid for many, many months now, and it's strange, and I don't like it. But I'm going to quit rambling again. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. If you want to see something standalone, let me know. I'll for sure do a standalone on the Hercules. We'll do a standalone on that sander. I don't know that I can provide, again, I'm not a woodworker. Like, I build pallets, you know, and shelves on occasion. I don't really like, I'm not some expert wood craftsman type. That's not, I prefer metal personally, you know. If you want to stand alone on that Hercules sander, let me know. Not sure how well I would do on that because it's not really my cup of tea, but I thought it was a good looking sander. It was on sale, and I figured, you know, for the little bit I do, it should serve me well. So with that said, I'll quit rambling. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here for more action from the shop.